So in our last video, we started learning about JavaScript string method. When we learn about the length, how to slide a particular part of a string. So in this video, we're going to continue learning about string, the method in string. So we're going to look at the two methods to how to change a particular string to uppercase or in lowercase, for instance. Then if time permits, we're going to learn how to concatenate using the concat method, and lastly the trim method. So let's try to see how to do that. So let's start with the first one now. So let's say for instance now this particular message now you say welcome to our JavaScript course. So now let's say for instance we want to, if we go back to our browser now, let's go back to our browser now. You see we have the second message as Piccolo, and you see the text in the first letter in the capital letter, was the second one, the rest of the characters are in smaller letters. So now let's go back to our text editor. Now, so for instance, now let's remove this slide. So let's look at the first one now. So let's say let's look at to lowercase first. Message, this is a variable, so to lower case. Okay, so after the message, then you are going to add the method. So you are going to use the method name is to lower. So let's try to look at to lowercase, the first one, to lower. Then you put the function, so you just put the bracket like this. Okay, so now let's save it. So let's go back to the browser, and so let's change this variable. Let's go to console to us and change it to message to lowercase. Okay, so now let's save it. So let's go back to the browser and refresh to see what we have. So Ctrl R to refresh. You see all the text are in lowercase now. So now let's look at if you want to change it to uppercase, just like how you have seen. So instead of to lower, then you just change it to uppercase. Okay, so let's change the variable name here to upper. Same thing here, upper. Okay, so now let's save it. So let's go back to the browser and refresh. You have to save it, so Ctrl S to save it. So let's go back to the browser and refresh to see what we have. So Ctrl R to refresh. You see all the text are in uppercase now. So you might find it useful sometimes, depending on what you want to use. Depend on what you want to achieve. For instance, you can change maybe the heading of a particular section of your website to all in uppercase, for instance. Depending on the scenario, you might find it useful. So the next method we are going to look at is the concat method. So it's used to join two strings together. So let's look at how to do that. Okay, so now let's create a message. Now let's say welcome Piccolo is the first message, so I can cut it out. So let's create a second message. Let's say course, for instance. So this is the course. So I'll use our backslash and paste it here. Okay, don't forget your semicolon. So now let's create a variable that's going to, let's say this variable, we're going to call it concat. It's going to concatenate this message. So let's say message concat. This does a variable name, so let's leave it like this. So now this message, so this particular message, so we're going to attach a method. So let's say concat. Okay, so after the message now, so let's say we want a spacing, then the next second one is which variable do you want to add to. So let's say we want to concatenate this cost to it. So let's try to echo it and see. So message concat. Okay, so now let's save it. Let's see, Ctrl S to save it. So let's go back to the browser and refresh to see what we have. So now we have joined this message because this spacing now, so let's say change it instead of this space now here. So let's say we want to separate the two messages with a comma, for instance. Okay, so let's save it. So let's go back to the browser and refresh to see. Ctrl R. You see the two strings are separated using a comma. So depending on what the kind of character that you want to use to separate them together. So you might find the concat method useful in some scenarios. So in the next video, we're going to continue with the method. We're going to learn about the trim method. I say, for instance, this is a string and you don't want any spacing, any white space inside the string, so you can use the trim to trim it out. So to meet in the next video. Thank you for watching.